You know that feeling when your plans, your hopes, maybe even your entire life just completely falls apart? You're left standing in the rubble, completely drained of hope, feeling like absolutely nothing is changing, and you're just wondering how on earth you're going to survive it.
It's a massive psychological mystery, isn't it? Why do two people go through the exact same hardship yet end up completely different? Why do some recover from devastating setbacks while others just don't? What actually separates them? That's exactly what we're exploring today in this explainer, diving into the core of Robert H. Schuller's classic framework, tough times never last, but tough people do. So, you really have to ask yourself, is resilience just something you're born with, like a genetic lottery ticket? Or is it a skill your mind frantically learns when your comfort zone is completely destroyed? Why is it that our darkest moments so often become the ultimate turning points of our lives? Suffering is optional. To really understand this, we have to look at how we view pain, because life pretty much guarantees you're gonna face challenges. There is absolutely no illusion of a problem-free life. Pain is inevitable. But, as Schuller points out, suffering is a choice. And nature actually gives us a brilliant example of exactly how that choice plays out. Picture a massive storm rolling across the plains. Now, cows will naturally try to run away from it, but the storm is faster, it catches them, and they end up running alongside the storm, completely exhausted, maximizing their time in the pain. But buffaloes turn and charge directly into the storm. They fight it while they're still full of energy, minimizing their time in the darkest part of the weather. Passivity and running away only prolong our hardships.
The stories we tell. Because, what if the biggest obstacle isn't the hardship itself? What if the storm isn't what's actually breaking you? This brings us to a major psychological twist regarding what adversity really does to the human mind. Here's the crux of it. Tough times don't just automatically build strong people. They reveal, and they reshape the stories we tell ourselves about what hardship actually means. The exact same pain can become either a prison that traps you or a teacher that elevates you, and it depends entirely on how your mind interprets its meaning. Let's break down the anatomy of a crisis. Think of it in two parts. First, you have your environment. This is the trauma, the job loss, the diagnosis. It is 100% uncontrollable. Then you have your response. This is your action, your mindset, your engagement, and that is 100% controllable.
So the formula for your life essentially looks like this. E plus R equals O. Environment plus response equals outcome. Because you literally cannot control the environment, your response is the sole factor that dictates the final outcome of your hardest times. You can numb out, or you can stay engaged. You can be the cow, or you can be the buffalo.
Finding purpose in pain. Let's look at how this builds into real-life evidence. Because this isn't just some motivational theory. This is the core of human psychological survival, proven in one of history's most extreme and horrific examples of adversity. Psychiatrist Viktor E. Frankl survived the unimaginable horrors of Nazi concentration camps during World War II. Stripped of his identity, his family, and his freedom, he observed something profound about the prisoners who survived versus those who didn't. He captured it beautifully with a quote adapted from Nietzsche: "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." Frankl realized that finding a purpose was the ultimate key to spiritual survival. For him, it was this burning hope to eventually rewrite his life's work, a confiscated manuscript detailing his psychological theories. That why kept him alive in a place designed for death. He actually went on to found logotherapy, a school of psychology which dictates that our primary drive isn't pleasure, but the pursuit of meaning. Even in total darkness, our minds are desperately hunting for meaning. And this leads to perhaps the most empowering psychological realization of the 20th century. Frankl wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Even when the environment takes absolutely everything from you, your response remains yours. No one can touch it."
The science of survival. We see this echoed not just in history, but in modern laboratories, proving that overcoming trauma is literally woven into our biology. This actually challenges almost everything we assume about trauma. Columbia University researcher George Bonanno has spent decades studying people who have lived through the worst imaginable events, from 9/11 to natural disasters to life-threatening illnesses. In its surprising insight, humans are far more resilient than they think. Resilience isn't some rare superpower, it's the human default. But how do we actually activate that default? Well, Bonanno's research points to something called flexible self-regulation.
Meaning resilience isn't just gritting your teeth and having a tough attitude. It's the ability to dynamically adapt your emotional responses and coping mechanisms to fit the specific demands of your environment. It's reading the storm and knowing exactly when to charge like the buffalo.
Forging a new identity. So, how do we bring this psychological journey back to you? How do you use this toolkit to walk through your own personal storms? Let's recap the core principles. Passivity prolongs hardship. Action, even if it's literally just a shift in your mindset, is your greatest weapon. Hard times, while incredibly painful, are the exact catalyst that promotes growth. And uncertainty, it doesn't destroy your character, it strengthens it. Stepping out of your shattered comfort zone and facing your darkest fears is where true, undeniable personal growth happens.
Hardship isn't a detour from your life. It is the forge where your true identity is shaped. Let this final perspective shift really sink in. Maybe the hardest chapter of my life isn't the end of my story. It's the chapter that's changing who I'm becoming. If this explainer shifted your perspective today, please like the video, subscribe to Beyond the Pages, and share this with someone who's walking through a difficult season right now. And drop a comment below. Tell us which insight changed your perspective the most. The storm is temporary, but the person you become inside of it, that lasts forever. So, who will you choose to become when your next storm hits?